Hey everybody, welcome back to Yays and Boos. We got a lot to talk about coming off of a crazy Raw. People are calling it one of, if not the best Raw of the year. I disagree. I think Boston cleared, and that's not just me being biased. I think that's what I truly feel. Regardless, this Raw was fantastic. A lot of stuff happened. We got a lot to talk about. I just finished recording the podcast, and boy, are my arms tired. So let's get into it. Before we do, subscribe, leave your likes, leave your comments, hype up the video, and check out my Patreon for match watch-alongs over there. All right, let's crack open this sucker. 'Tis the season. Woo! Let's get started. The back-to-back moments of AJ Lee returning and then Maxine winning the title was incredible. OMG. OMG is right. This is getting a yay. The leading moments to Maxine winning and like that moment where like AJ Lee's music hit and you kind of started thinking like, oh my God, this is happening. Almost like in a good way, I think, overshadowed the AJ Lee returns. It still made the moment feel like Maxine. And listen to this. Maxine Dupree, the girlhood dream, Maxine Dupree Shee won her IC title in Madison Square Garden, dude. Shout out Bex. Shout out AJ Lee. This rocked. The match was fun. Also, AJ Lee is back. That's fun. We're now leading to AJ Becky. Kind of a surprise to me because this whole time I kind of thought this AJ Lee and Becky Lynch feud was going to involve and circle around the IC title. Not that it needs it. It's fine. I love that I don't know if consequence is the right word, but I love the move of putting it on Maxine. I think that's cool. And like I said, they don't need the title. But also a cool fact, Maxine Dupree of the Creed, American Alpha, American Made, and American Alpha, she is the one to get that singles IC title out of everyone before Chad, before the Creeds, before Nivea, before Otis, before Tozawa, before Chad. I'd already say Chad before Jason Jordan. Maxine Dupree, the GOAT. And like a lot of people were like, oh, like what the heck, Maxine? Maxine's a mid-carder. This is a mid-card belt. Becky has done a great job to elevate it. I think Becky has been killing it this year. But now we are at, it have built up this belt to be what it should be for the mid-carders, to build up people. And I'm excited to see where Maxine goes from here. Who's she going to feud with? Who is the person that's going to take it off her, or at least her first feud going in? I am kind of surprised, again, that AJ Lee and Becky aren't fighting for it. I thought AJ Lee was going to take it off Becky, but maybe we'll circle all the way back. They just go for world titles. They just have some grudge matches non-title, and that works too. I really love Sheamus doing Claudio Castagnoli's giant swing and taunt to Dominic Mysterio during the 6-man tag. I forget if this happened during a commercial or not. I kind of forget. Like, I know this happened. Either way, this is getting a yay. I love that a lot of John Cena's retirement tour has been a ode to his past friends, foes, rivals, and whatever. Claudio getting named in Cena's pipe bomb. Obviously, Sheamus, a lot of history with, Cesaro, Claudio in the bar. So yeah, I'm such a sucker for when wrestlers shout other wrestlers in a subtle, I'm doing your move sort of way, a wink, wink. If you know, you know. If you catch it, you can catch it sort of way. So yeah, pretty quick yay here. Shout out Sheamus. I could say so many positive things about this Raw, but I want to highlight one thing the most. I went and saw Javon Evans wrestle for DPW in a ballroom in Raleigh, North Carolina, to seeing him wrestle Gunther on Raw in Madison Square Garden in the John Cena tournament on Netflix. I'm super proud of this guy, and I can't wait to see what this future looks like. I bet my house on him being a future world champion and WrestleMania main eventer. There's a lot here. It's all a yay. There's a lot here. First of all, big shout to you, and it's a part of the reason why I love the indies. It's so cool to see like guys that you've been watching for so long, wrestling in front of 15, 20, 50 people and progressively get more and more to the big stage. I have a couple of people like that. I feel like that I'm a fan, or I feel like that towards, that I watch on the indies. And yeah, man, it's what it's all about. It's why I encourage everyone to go to their local indie promotions and support them, because you're probably watching future stars of something, right? So shout out you. I mean, Javon is just destined for stardom. I also believe, he's on such a trajectory right now. I'm right there with you. Future world champ, WrestleMania main eventer. He's 21. I knew he was young. I knew he was 21, but just hearing it during the Gunther match with commentary saying like, and he's only 21, you're like, oh my God. When I was 21, what was I doing at 21? Nothing. Oh, Jesus Christ. Just that's nuts. That's super cool. That's getting a yay. Shout out Javon. Double back-to-back shout outs. All right, next. I'm not saying anything new, but the Rocket is fully strapped to Dominic Mysterio. 3 matches in Cena's retirement tour will involve him, including a Big 4 PLE. Cena and WWE are giving him a massive rub and are showing that they have a ton of trust in him. I fully agree. This is getting a yay. This is my biggest and most glaring takeaway from all of this. Like, John Cena Cena IC title, Dom Mysterio stuff, the trust and the well-earned trust that WWE has. And it's really, really cool to see as WWE, currently a company that puts a lot of eggs into the nostalgia basket and the old timers, the guys in their 40s. It is nice to see this glimmer of investment, I think is the right word, in a young guy. And, other examples are like a Braun Breaker or a Dom Mysterio. But this guy, dude, on top of the world. And he's broken out of the Nepo baby shit. He improves so much week to week. I mean, he is from even like a year ago, no less when he first debuted, he's just a different wrestler and performer, and it's been so cool. And similar to, what that person was talking about, Javon Evans, like, again, not to be parasocial about it, I say this all the time, but like, Dom's around my age, and I feel so proud of this kid, man. And I've seen him on TV since he was a kid, right? When he made his debut in the Eddie Ray ladder match. It's so, what a life. It's so crazy to see how far this guy's came. And he could just rode off the coattails of Rey Mysterio. He could have been a Nepo baby. He could have just done nothing. But for the love of the game, he got a giant lucha mask tattooed on his neck, and he has different, I think he has a Rey Mysterio Sr. or whatever, or his uncle, tattooed on his arm. This, I don't know what it has to do with anything, but for the love of the game, and he's killing it. And being able to work so much with John Cena at this stage, especially of the retirement tour, is something special. He's not going to be his final match, obviously, because like the tournament, but like to be his fourth to last, involved with his third to last, and then to be his second to last match at Survivor Series. So cool. Shout out Dom. Biggest yay in the world for this. Things just got real. Roman and Brock added to War Games. It has potential to be the most brutal War Games match ever. Okay. I'm on the fence of what I want to give this because, like, I talked about on the pod too, but a Roman Brock stare down in 2025 and potentially, maybe War Games being a background to what it might seem like a feud between them or reigniting feud. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the case. But all that doesn't super move me. And there's obviously, other obvious Brock stuff that we're not going to, dive in this video. I feel like I've talked about before. But I will give this a yay because it is a star-studded War Games, and I do agree has potential to be very brutal. It's going to be a fun car crash once it starts. I'm just not like super over the moon with like the direction of the Brock and Roman editions. However, there are 8 or whatever other men in this match that are going to go crazy. It's going to be impressive. The story, the leading story that people are often forgetting about is the Jey Uso stuff. Jimmy is involved. Now Roman is in the match. Roman was pissed at Jimmy and Jey last time. Jey has been getting closer to the tribal chief stuff and a heel turn. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff in this match. It was a little bit of like all right, like the guys that have had a feud forever and they're older now, and now we don't have anything new in 2025. I don't know. That part didn't super move me. Everything else though is going to be a situation of similar to other War Games builds or even Blood and Guts builds where it's like maybe there's a lack of a build, lack of a faction, lack of a story, whatever. But the match is going to start and it's going to be a fun time on the couch, having a couple of beers, whatever. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to watch this live. I hope so. I hope I'm on stream for it. Don't know. Unconfirmed. Don't hold me to that. I wouldn't be surprised if someone breaks through the cage. I hope we see someone get on top and do something crazy, but yeah, that's kind of that for that. Sheamus versus Gunther for the final match in the tournament would be amazing. Parentheses, if Cena still has the IC title. I mean, whether Cena has the IC title or not, I think that's kind of neither here nor there in terms of the quality of a Sheamus versus Gunther match. Now I get it, like the IC title does add the stakes of a Sheamus win to be Grand Slam champion. So I'll give this a yay for like the fandom and the fantasy of it. Because yeah, Sheamus versus Gunther would rock. People would be behind Sheamus because they want to see him have that one-on-one with John Cena, especially if Sheamus wins, he can get the Grand Slam championship, and then Gunther is gonna swat him down, get a bunch of heat, be the biggest heel in the works. He prevented the beloved Sheamus from getting to that next step. So yeah, it would be amazing. Cena, I can't predict the future, but given who is involved and given Gunther being the front runner and him not needing the IC title out of this, I could see through shenanigans Dom getting the IC title back at War Games, and then there's we're not involved in the IC title in the final match. It would be cool though, but a lot of people are speculating Sheamus, but as much as I would love Sheamus to be a Grand Slam champion, I think he deserves it. I just don't, the direction for John Cena's final match is not Sheamus, especially at this stage in his career or both their careers. It's not like they're strapping the rocket to Sheamus in 2025, as great as he is, and it's still fantastic as he is in the ring. And he's not going anywhere. There's multiple other times where Sheamus is going to have the opportunity to get that Grand Slam championship, maybe a WrestleMania moment, who knows, but it doesn't need to be, it's not worth it for this Sheamus moment. I think it would just be kind of like, oh, like, I don't know. It'd be kind of odd to me. There's other places to do it, other opportunities. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Gunther is going to face the winner of Melo versus Bronson Reed in the second round, because Melo versus Gunther in the finals could have potentially been match of the year. Also because it means Melo likely won't go all the way. He would benefit so much from being Cena's last match. Sure, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll give this a yay. I'm not sure if this is the point of the comment, but this is at least how I'm taking it. Seeing as Gunther is going to face the winner of this match, it makes me nervous for Melo. I mean, the whole conversation, about this tournament, especially when people started to get announced, was it's Gunther or Carmelo Hayes, and one side is kind of the obvious one and the obvious next guy up. The other one is also some guy from Boston, some guy that could really use the rub, a very ruthless aggression sort of moment, a career making starting moment for Carmelo Hayes. I just don't know if they're going down the direction of the latter with Melo. And also Bronson Reed versus Gunther looks very enticing, just some big meaty men slapping big meaty meat, I think that's gonna be fun. I don't know, I don't know who's gonna win Bronson Melo, but either way, I don't see either of those men beating Gunther, and I don't know how much more I'm hitching my wagon to this Carmelo Hayes hope train for this tournament, but we'll see. That we can shock us, who knows? Gunther versus Javon match aside, the last time is now tournament has been pretty mid. The two mystery entrants losing doesn't make it any better. WWE could have and should have done better booking to determine Cena's final opponent. No Joe Hendry also makes me disappointed. Yeah, I mean, kind of whatever about the Joe Hendry stuff. It would have been fun, it would have been silly, but whatever about that part. I think it would have been fun for a fresh matchup and a fresh face, especially, it would have been cool introduction for Joe Hendry to the WWE, seeing as he just got signed. But I unfortunately agree, and this is getting a yay. While I like the idea of a tournament going in, I don't know if they've stuck the landing with the anticipation of a tournament. And I agree, maybe Zack Ryder didn't need to win, but I think The Miz should have beat Jey Uso. Not that he was a mystery opponent, but I think The Miz should have beat Jey Uso, and I do think Dolph Ziggler should have beat Solo Sikoa. Now, I do know why they didn't do it, because Dolph Ziggler is not their guy right now. They've kind of built up Solo as this leader of the MFTs. Well, I mean, he's the leader, but you know what I mean. There wasn't a world where Dolph was going to win, but it would be the cooler and more interesting option. My take is they had two options for this tournament. Either go super young and hot shot and oh, this is for a bunch of young guys to earn this crazy spot for their career, or go super nostalgia with it and put all, his past foes and have all his past foes and past friends fight to have that the honor of ending John Cena's career. They didn't really do either of that. They did this weird middle ground where they put some young guys in and then put some nostalgia Cena history acts. To circle it back, that's why I said The Miz should have won, because The Miz has way more to do with John Cena, and the idea of a The Miz versus Cena running it back match to me is more enticing than a Jey Uso Cena match. Again, the reason I'm thinking about this all in the context that if anyone could win, you're thinking of them facing John Cena, right? Jey Uso versus Cena, I could see, to be honest with you, I could see WWE doing. I could see them getting Jey Uso through this tournament, to be honest with you. Especially with Gunther in it. Jey Gunther, they have history. Jey's kind of gotten up on Gunther a couple times here, so you know what I mean? But if you're going to lean nostalgia, you have a Dolph Ziggler win, you have a Miz win, you have all these guys, nostalgia guys, people that grew up or came up in John Cena's era and came up around or facing John Cena, and you have Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz, and you have Sheamus win, and I mean, Sheamus did win, but yeah, I don't know. My biggest problem in it is there's no one besides genuinely one person who could realistically win this. Even when the other matches were getting announced, there's no name that was that person could win it. Ooh, that would be cool to see. And then Gunther got added. It was yeah, obviously. Again, the only other name is Carmelo Hayes, but I think a lot of that hope is from fans hoping for that jump start and that ruthless aggression cool moment, not talking circles about Carmelo Hayes. So I don't know. It's weird. But again, you see a Penta in it, and that's great. Do I think Penta is gonna be the pick to face John Cena's last match? Absolutely not. I'd love it, but absolutely not. So yeah, the tournament hasn't got me. I hope maybe once we see the second round shakeout, they aren't showing the bracket for some reason, which I think is weird. I think once we see more of the second round develop, maybe we'll get a better idea. And maybe we'll start to be a little more oh, maybe it's not Gunther. Maybe it's, I don't know. Is it going to be Jey? It's going to be Jey. Maxine winning was just for a pop. Becky should be winning her title back within days, or a Becky face off with AJ, then Ivy now returns and take the title off Maxine. Ooh, Ooh, what a boo. What a boo. To be honest with you, I only put this one in here to give a boo in this video. So I think last time we had all yays, and I want to keep that sound effect in around in my Adobe Premiere. I won't spend too much time on this. This is a deserved win. Is she the best wrestler in the world? No. Has she improved vastly? Absolutely. But hey, here's the thing, and this is gonna be a crazy comparison. Don't crucify me for this. Someone like The Rock, who is one of, if not the most famous wrestler, and he was on top in Attitude Era. We all know The Rock, obviously. The biggest thing people say about him is that he wasn't really the best in ring. But he had everything. He was a showman. He knew how to work a crowd. He was great on the mic, and he was good enough and had all these moves in the ring that got him over. Why is Rock allowed to do that? And other people who get organically over and have these characters or moves that are over, how come there's an excuse for The Rock? And maybe the excuse is accolades and like whatever. I get it. But sometimes someone can just be good in the ring, but then super over with the crowd and whatever. I mean, that's WWE and wrestling in general, where wrestling in ring isn't everything. It should be a big part of it. But if you have someone who is good in the ring, but also they are so over and on the mic they're fun, they have a cool gimmick and a cool faction, and they do like the worm sometimes. Sometimes you don't need to go with the 6-star classic wrestler to win everything. Sometimes you can just put a mid-card title on a mid-card wrestler that isn't the best wrestler in the world, but still deserves it off of hard work and progression in-ring and everything outside of it and around it, and also just like being over with the crowd. Being over with the crowd, I think is a massive thing in wrestling that people oftentimes do overlook. Gunther is in a bad spot right now. Even beating Javon Evans didn't give him heat. You could hear a pin drop after his match. IMO Gunther needs to retire soon to save his career. I'm gonna give this a boo. I do see what you're saying in terms of I've said this before. I think that Gunther would benefit greatly from retiring Cena, and it would be, and people, again, we talk about how people have a problem with using the word retiring, but it kind of is, whatever, semantics. It'd be a massive accolade for Gunther, and it would make him feel like a badass again. But I think I'm giving this a boo because I don't think we're at that point yet. I don't think he's in a bad spot. I think he's in a great spot, to be honest with you. He just got his old theme song back, Walter vibes again. He's back with his old look with like this different like robe. So it honestly feels like a we're back moment as opposed to a we're due moment. Movement. There's a joke in there about a cow, but we'll keep it going. But Gunther's not in a position where he needs career saving. Like this seems hyperbolic to me. Now, what I will say about the lack of quote unquote heat that Gunther got at the end of that, I think a lot of that too is more about both people in the ring. Now, I'm not discrediting Javon Evans at all. I'm a huge Javon Evans fan. However, there is a slight, pretty big difference, pretty decent, medium-sized difference between the NXT crowd, the more diehard, we watch everything crowd, and the mainstream crowd there in Madison Square Garden. Now, I would say a majority of the people in the crowd did know who Javon Evans was, but, and this is all my speculation, but I think to the main general audience in attendance, Javon Evans isn't a super over hyper baby face. Like he's not getting like prime Rey Mysterio or prime John Cena chants and applause and reactions, right? He's great, he is over, and people do like him, but he's so early in his career that, especially as a baby face, where, the majority of people are still learning who he is and are connecting with his character, and that's all still developing. I think that's, it's where it should be. Point being is Gunther beating Javon Evans wasn't like Gunther beating the biggest baby face in the world. Well, maybe on paper it seems like that, to a different crowd it seems like that, but you have to take into context that Javon Evans is still a rising star, and he is brand new on the main roster and brand new to a lot of the WWE audience. So take that with a grain of salt. I think that's the reason, if you heard a lack of heat towards Gunther beating this babyface, I'm not gonna, yeah. That's the reason. Dolph Ziggler losing to Solo is the worst booking decision in the past 6 months. It's not great. I'll give this a yay. I gotta think more about what would be the worst booking decision in the month. This will be in the conversation. It sucks. I get why I did it. I talked about it already. I want to put this in here though, but this is a yay. WWE hates putting over people that that TNA was run by had all WWE champions for a while. You know what I mean? So they weren't gonna put him over Solo. Unfortunately, it would have been sick, and we would get another Dolph Ziggler match, he looked so good. He was selling his ass off. He hasn't aged a day in 15 years. Is 15 a lot? 15 is a lot, but you know what I mean, 10. The way he's working too, he could still be in a prime spot in WWE, but I saw some comment on some video that was like, hey, they didn't book him to win when he was part of the company. What makes you think they would book him to win when he's not even a part of their company? Which I think speaks volumes for a multitude of reasons. Big yay seeing at Queen of the Ring when Raw went live. Quality start to the show. Shout out Alex. Shout out Queen of the Ring. This is getting a yay. Super, super cool to see. I saw a bunch of highlights of people reacting, and yeah, super cool. Admittedly, I think I was still setting up my stream or like something, so I missed it, but I saw a bunch of playbacks. I was like, oh shit, no way. Yeah, shout out Alex. Unpopular opinion, but I thought Cena's last match on Raw was great. Him teaming up with Sheamus and Ray felt like it was 2010 again. I think no matter what the match was, nobody would have been satisfied with it, but in the spirit of callbacks and homages, this was the right choice. You know what? I got a little discussion about this, but I am giving this a yay. Shout out Shane for sending this in. Shane edits some stuff for me sometimes, and he rocks. I won't go too much into it because I spent a lot of the podcast going into this, but at first I was admittedly part of the crowd that was a little disappointed and like, I wanted a Cena solo match, not Cena versus solo. I want a Cena singles match, and I want a surprise and whatever. And it's a case of me building up my own expectations, but also WWE doing their fair share of building up my own expectations. I was disappointed in myself that I was disappointed even because we got, who am I to complain about Sheamus and Ray and Cena all tagging? Like, that's my shit, right? Now, and I haven't made up my mind about this, even since recording the podcast earlier, I haven't made up my mind about this, but I still kind of think this might not have been the spot for his third to last match at Madison Square Garden. I do think, like it being his last match on Raw and it being a very like you said, 2010 Raw match was fun, I think worth it, but I do think there is also another answer of this could have happened before. We could have gotten more of this at different times, and this could have been a more, staple of a match. But I'll tell you this, Boston got the better Cena match. Boston got the better Cena match. Not going to hang my Red Sox hat over my Yankees hat I do have, admittedly. With all that said, pretty quickly into the match, I got away from that thinking, buckled up for the ride, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, this rocks. When they did the 10 beats and Ray was doing, Ray hit the you can't see me, they did a 15 knuckle shuffle. It was all great. Someone compared it to a house show, and just it was very fun. It was very fan service, and that's not a bad thing. Well, again, I am questioning that sort of spot in this particular situation, right? Madison Square Garden, his last Raw. We're getting down to the wire here, but it was fun, entertaining. It checked off the boxes of a Rey Mysterio and Sheamus inclusion, because I think also the biggest reason for this match is we're not getting the Rey match. Sheamus is not going to win this tournament, so we got Cena not wrestling Ray and Sheamus, we got him wrestling with Sheamus and Ray, which I think is great. I'm a sucker for seeing these wrestling buddies having fun and house show vibes and them hugging each other and whatever. I think Cena even gave Ray a piggyback. That was crazy. So yeah, like I said, when this first happened, like admittedly I was more disappointed. Like I'm still, I'm still questioning a little bit, but coming away from it, it's the next day. This was very fun. I think it was a ton of fun, I guess. Fun, and worth having. So that's why this is getting a yay, but nothing. That's that. All right, folks, thanks for being here for Yays and Boos. I hope you enjoyed. Leave what you agree with and what you disagree with in the comments. Give me some more hot takes if you have any in the comments. Please like, subscribe, hype up the video. Check out my Patreon for weekly match watch-alongs. And if you haven't listened to the Stash Club podcast yet, go check out the new episode over there. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you next time. Peace.